Okay guys, so welcome to the part 2. Now that our polished metal material on the lamp is finished, we're gonna carry on, and our next material will be the coated wood metal. The coated wood material. So let's grab our table, isolate it, and we are going to start, actually this time we will start by extracting the mask that we will be needing to create the material. So let's get our layered material, and our coated wood will be basically 3 layers. The base layer will be just some rough basic wood. The coat layer will be our coated wood, which will be more glossy and a bit darker because the coating usually darkens the wood a little bit. And the third layer will be again some dirt in the corners. So first of all, I'm just gonna assign this material to our table. Let's call it coated wood. Let's call this coated wood base. And for now, let's just make it some dark brown wood kind of color. And let's get our red material, which will again be used just so we can see the effect of our mask. And as I said, we will create the mask first. So for that, again, CoronaLayeredMTL occlusion and output. And since we are using it to set where the layer is, not where it isn't, we will need to invert it. For that, we will use another output, which we will just set to invert, and plug this into our mask 0. Then the output here will be used again to amplify the effect of the ambient occlusion. The current ambient occlusion itself will be inverted because we will be making scratched edges. And let's start playing with these values. Let's wait for the autosave to finish. 0.5 centimeters. That looks good for the starters. And actually, in this case, we do not want to invert it, I guess. Yep. Because this is gonna define where the coating is. Alright. Okay, so once we have this, I'm gonna choose the texture I will be using for the wood, which will be this one. Increase the resolution. This is how our texture looks. And I'm gonna plug this first into the mix map, because when we plug it in the mix amount, the mix map has this nice feature, mixing curve, which is basically the same thing as going here and adding those 2 points and then manually clamping the curve like this. But the problem is this is 2-dimensional, so you have to be careful not to have these values exactly 0 and 1, and you can use this little thing, this constraint, to only horizontal movement, but as soon as you deselect the node, it resets itself, so that's not very useful. This is easier. This is just 2 values, so we can set it 0 to 1 and it won't have any effect. But first let's put it to ambient occlusion distance and start playing with it. So I'm gonna start lowering clamping the white until we reach some nice contrast. And now let's increase the black further. That's too much. And this looks nice. We can see the wood is oriented in the wrong way, so just quickly rotate it. Okay. am just increasing the clamping strength of the mix map. This is starting to look nice. Let's take a look here. Yeah, there's some nice scratching going on, but maybe here we may want to make this also a bit stronger. That's it. Go back here. Yeah, this is the scratching, kind of scratching I was after. Now we can increase the radius maybe, like this. Again, play with the curve here. It takes a little bit of tweaking, but we are almost there. Yeah, let's go with this. But obviously I do not want scratching only on edges, but also random scratches here. So what we are going to do is, after output, we're gonna put in RGB multiply here. We're gonna take this, use another mix, again mix amount, again put it here, and use curve. Again play with the curve, and you can see now we have some random scratching also on the flat areas. Again, it's taking a little bit of tweaking. Okay, this is it. I have extracted our mask. That's what I'm gonna use. So let's clean this up just a little bit. Get rid of this. Disable the mask for a moment, get rid of red, and let's start setting up our base layer, which is gonna be, oops, we already have the bitmap, so just let's grab it. Let's put it as our diffuse map, and we can see how it looks. And we have some elements of the table that are set as material ID 2, which are gonna be darker, so we're just gonna take Corona multimap, set item count to 2, set it to material ID. Material ID 1 is going to be white, and material ID 2 is going to be black. Now we will take RGB multiply, put it between our map and material, our diffuse map, and then take Corona multimap and put it here. It works, so now we can start to increase this to basically choose how dark we want to other wood type to be. I'm gonna go with 64, and so now we have two different wood types on the table, and we can set basic reflective properties of this material. So let's grab this output, put it into reflection glossiness. The base layer is going to be really basic rough wood, so for that let's just use something like 0.15 so in the reflection, 0.1, 2 in Fresnel. The rougher materials usually have higher Fresnel. Then increase the contrast of the glossiness map, maybe not so much. This looks kind of nice for the basic rough layer. Let's also try to map the reflection itself. just slightly. Offset it so the reflection map doesn't have too much contrast. Okay, this looks already as some nice rough basic wood. So let's also try to introduce some bump. And this is obviously way too much, so let's try like 33% of what we have now. Okay. This looks good for our base layer. So now let's try our code layer. Minimize this, move it around, clean it up, and grab another Corona material. This one is gonna be coated wood. Coat is gonna share the same map. So let's grab it also with the multiply so we get two different wood types. Set it to output. As I said, the coating will make it a little bit more darker and saturated, so let's deepen the curve. Let's grab another RGB multiply and just slightly tint it red like this. Set it as diffuse, put it as another layer. As you can see, it darkened a bit and it's also a bit more red, exactly what we wanted. Let's clean this up. Okay. Now again, let's take these, reflection glossiness, reflection color. Actually, let's just take reflection glossiness. This is code, so final IOR is going to be like 1.6. The reflection glossiness map is going to go here. And the reflectivity here is going to be quite high, like 0.75 maybe. And let's tweak our reflectivity, or our reflection glossiness rather. Okay, this looks more like shiny coated wood. Again, let's wait for the autosave. Okay. Alright, this looks from all angles like what I want it to be. Maybe try again a little bit of bump. Point 0.2 maybe. Even that seems too much. 0.1. That's more like it. And the reflection glossiness, even higher. Okay. So now we have our code, we have our base. So all we really need to do now is just plug in our mask and let's see how it works. So let's just take our mask right here, plug it as mask 0, and we can see the nice effect we get. We get this weathering, maybe too strong, but we can tweak it now. On the edges as well, we see how the rough wood is exposed on the edges. So now just let's play with this a little bit. Okay, this looks more reasonable. Okay, so again, I'm just checking a few angles to see how the material works. And so far, everything behaves exactly as I expected to behave. And now we can just carry on and create our final layer, which is going to be dark, dirty wood, and that's going to darken the corners. So another material, again layer 1. Let's again grab this, through the output, and put it into the diffuse. So this is gonna be darkened, but without any more saturation, just like this. And this material is gonna be slightly reflective, maybe like this. And the reflection is gonna be very rough, but not very contrasty when it comes to glossiness. Actually, maybe even less reflection, like this. Okay, this is how I would expect the dirt on a wood to look like. Maybe this is actually giving me some nice effect. I think I will go with this. Okay. And now let's just create another mask for the concave areas. So again, let's take our red, replace our dirty wood with the red material, and I am going to get another ambient occlusion map and another output map, and the same old story. Clamp it first, put it as our mask. We can see it masks it, but it masks it in the wrong way, so we need to invert here. There we go. So now we can decrease the radius. Even further to like 3 centimeters. And again, we will use some noise to introduce some randomness to the weathering. So put it in the ambient occlusion distance, set it to like 10 for starters, make it fractal. But we need to see how large the texture is, so let's just clamp it to see the size. Now we can see the size, it's maybe too large. Let's try to increase the levels. Yeah, it's too large, so maybe like 5, 4. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, so put it back. Now let's play with the high and low values. I'm increasing the low value to get some more contrast in the noise map. This looks kind of nice. The curve here may be a bit easier for the dirt, like this. The radius could be a bit higher. Okay. This is more like it. So we have mask now. Just replace the red material with our dirt. Okay, and I think this is it for the wood material. It looks nice, even up close. Everything looks as I would expect it to. Maybe get back here, try to amplify the curve so we see more of the dirt. This is more like it. And checking from the other angles, I'm quite happy with the result, I have to say. So let's get back to our entire scene. and I quite like how the table looks. Maybe the overall the coating is too shiny for the environment, so let's get back to our code layer and lower the reflection glossiness of the code. Oh, actually this is our dirt. Sorry, this is our code. Here we go. Alright, that's more like it. Now I'm gonna enable render selected for the viewport selection and do another quick render and check out how our table turns out in the scene. Okay, the material looks nice. It's still a bit noisy, so I'm gonna pause the video here and get back once it's cleaned up. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, the noise is cleaned up and we can indeed see all the detail, the dirt here, scratching on the edges and everywhere. So I think this is it for the wood material. And in the next lesson, we'll take a look at how to use LayeredMTL to create some interesting engraved glass material for the bottle. So see you in the part 3.